welcome back to my channel, or welcome for the first time if you're here for the first time. My name is Natalia, this is Crafting with Natalia, and today I have a Flosstube video. I believe this is Flosstube number 16 because I was looking through my files today, earlier this morning, and I think my last one was 15. So it's been a bit of a break. And I've been away. As you may have noticed, there wasn't any activity on my channel and barely any activity on my social media. I've got lots to tell you, so it's probably going to be a long video, I suspect. So maybe grab some tea or coffee. I've got a cup of tea as well, so you can drink some tea with me. You may hear in my voice that it's slightly different. I'm almost back to normal. But I actually had COVID. So I had COVID, let's go back. Things happened, life happened. So last time when I spoke to you, I came back from Poland, and then I said I was going to be away again. And so I went away to Albania. So I went away to Albania, where my husband is at the moment and his family. So I got to visit them. We got to spend a few days at the beach with Bess, with my husband, and it was lovely. It was beautiful. It was sunny. I got a bit burned, sunburned. I swam in the sea, which was wonderful, and yeah, we ate lots of good food, and yeah, it was really pretty amazing. And then I was supposed to come back I was supposed to fly back on a Saturday, and well, first of all, we barely made it to the airport on time, and when we finally made it to the airport, my flight kept getting delayed. It was like getting later and later, and finally it just changed to cancelled. So that was fun because that was in Montenegro. By that time, Beth has already gone back to his family, to Albania. So I was by myself in Montenegro. I didn't have internet, and the internet at the airport wasn't working, and it was this whole thing. And yeah. I had trouble, but it was a bit stressful. I have to say, guys, it was a bit stressful because the airline, it was one of the cheap airlines, though now nothing really is cheap anymore, but the airline didn't really provide any help. There was no representatives from the airline at the airport. And of course, it was in a country where English is not their first language, so it wasn't very easy to communicate with people over there as well. Aside only the other passengers from the plane who were also supposed to be flying to London, most of them were British, so at least, we could talk to each other, so that was a bit helpful because some of them were able to sort out some flights and give me some advice what flights I could book instead, because basically my airline, when I finally managed to get on their website, the earliest they offered me a flight was Thursday. And I was like, well, yeah, but I don't have a place to stay in Montenegro for like 5 nights, and I don't have annual leave from work, so how is that gonna work? I managed to get from the airline one night at the hotel, and because I was traveling by myself, they actually put me together in a room with a lady I didn't know, and initially they put us together in one double bed, and because it was like a Hilton, so it was like a 5-star hotel, we managed to convince the receptionist that it's not acceptable, and eventually they found us a room with 2 separate beds, but we didn't know each other. We were both very stressed. We were both trying to find ways to get home, and she was also struggling to manage her way around like booking her flights and stuff, so she was asking me for a lot of advice, but I was also trying to sort out my flight, so it was a bit hectic and a bit stressful, and not the best experience. So yeah, so maybe that was the kind of more negative aspect of the holiday, but I did manage to turn it into a positive. So because I couldn't find a good replacement flight. Well, because first of all, most of them costed a fortune. They really, it was like hundreds of pounds that I would have to pay, like huge amount of money, to get back the next day. And there was no direct flights. All of them were pretty much like you have to switch, you have to fly to another airport and then fly to London. It was a bit of a headache, and I was also being paranoid. Another flight is gonna get cancelled, I'm gonna get stuck somewhere else and whatnot. But eventually so someone at the airport actually advised me, when we were queuing, trying to find out information about the hotel and stuff. Someone advised me they were going to travel by bus to Dubrovnik, and from Dubrovnik there was a flight on Monday. So when I managed to get to the hotel and get Wi-Fi from them, I looked at that, and that was probably the most sensible option financially, and also would still get me to London fairly quickly, because I would be in London on Monday night. So I decided to go for that. So I ended up traveling from Montenegro, from Podgorica to Dubrovnik, and I needed to book a bus, and I also need to book a stay in Dubrovnik, and to kind of to figure out how to get to places, like, you know, because I didn't have internet. It was like until I got back to the EU, I was struggling to get any connection there. But I managed, finally I got a train from Podgorica to another little town in Montenegro, and from then I got a bus to Dubrovnik, and it was the most scenic journey ever, because the bus was going on the coast, from basically from Montenegro all the way along the coast to Croatia, until you get to Dubrovnik, and it was like such beautiful scenery. It was gorgeous. It was just spectacular. If you ever get a chance, I know some of you guys are really far away from Europe, so some of you are maybe in the US or somewhere else in Australia or in another part of the world, but if you ever get a chance to come to Europe, this was actually one of the most beautiful places. I think Dubrovnik itself is gorgeous, really gorgeous, but that road that goes from Montenegro to Croatia is so spectacular that I definitely recommend that if you ever get a chance, definitely give it a go. So anyway, so that was something that happened that was unexpected, and that got me delayed in getting back to the UK, right? So I got back to the UK later than I expected. So of course my plans of, I'm gonna get back on Saturday, record the Flosstube on Sunday, everything was a mess. And then so I got back on Monday night, like really late at night, and on Tuesday I already went to work because I didn't want to use up any more of the annual leave. So that was Tuesday, and on Wednesday I went to work and I started to feel like I've got a little bit of sore throat, and then I started coughing. And by afternoon I was starting to feel like I'm getting a fever. And I came back home from work and I tested myself and I was positive for COVID. So that happened. And so that took, that actually hit me pretty hard, harder than I would expect, because I am triple vaccinated now, and I'm 32, so I'm not like, I'm still reasonably young and whatnot. But I did it wasn't great, guys. Honestly, I don't recommend you get COVID because it was not fun. Sorry about the noise as usual. This is London. Sorry, I'm almost at the end of this story. Almost at the end of this story. I just wanted to explain to you guys why I wasn't here, and also just give you a bit of an update of what's been happening with me, just in case if you were wondering. It's been adventurous, but so COVID, I had fever, cough, I was lying in bed for a few days, not doing very much, barely even touching any stitching. Then I started to get a bit better, the fever was gone, but still I was so tired, like all the time. I felt like I was exhausted, like I just wanted to sleep, I wanted to lie down, I didn't want to do very much. It was like I was just so low on energy, and that also eventually that really affected me mentally, because I also felt like I didn't have motivation to do anything because everything felt like so much work. Everything felt so hard, and because I was on my own and, you know, sitting at home, it was kind of, I don't know, it was just like kind of really tiring also mentally. So I was actually, you know what, a week ago, because today is Sunday, this the 2nd of October. A week ago, I couldn't get out of bed on Sunday morning. I remember that like it was really hard morning for me. Sunday morning, I was in bed for a really long time. When I'm normally an early bed, I wake up really early, but I couldn't get out of bed, and I felt like I just like giving up on everything, kind of like I just don't have energy for anything anymore. And I honestly thought there was not ever gonna be any more Flosstube, any more YouTube, any more anything. I just felt like life was over for me. But fortunately, well, I went back to work on Monday, Tuesday, and by Wednesday I started to regain some of my energy. I started to feel a bit more like myself again. I started to laugh a bit more again, and I started to feel like there's hope, there's light at the end of the tunnel. And so finally we're here, and finally I feel like I can get back to my channel and I can like chat to you guys again. I have energy to stitch, to craft. I have I don't know, like, you know, I'm more to my usual kind of personality that you probably are more familiar with. So this is me, but this is why I've been gone. And honestly, first of all, when I was abroad, you know, I was occasionally checking my channel, occasionally checking Instagram. I did a couple of posts when I was in Albania. But yeah, you know, obviously I wouldn't have been able to record anything, and then, you know, being so unwell, I just left it all to the side, the YouTube, the Instagram, everything. I didn't really do very much of that at all. So apologies that you haven't heard from me, but I am back, I'm here, and it's lovely to see you guys. And thank you so much for visiting me again. Thank you so much for sticking around. I hope you enjoy it here. You may see we have some new things, so we're gonna talk about it in a minute. I actually have lots of updates for you guys, because the only thing, so when I was traveling, obviously I had my stitching with me, and I managed to do quite a bit of stitching when I was away. And although not as much as I thought, to be honest, not as much at all as I expected. But yeah, but then I was ill with COVID, and pretty much the only craft I was able to do is cross stitch. I did a little bit of diamond painting, but that requires sitting up, and I couldn't really do it for a very long time. So mainly it was me laying on a pillow like this and then stitching. Just kind of, well, I wasn't like laying flat, but it's more like supporting yourself with a pillow, so you don't have to like be, you know, hunching over anything and stuff. So I needed a bit of like cozy support. So I managed to get quite a few things stitched. Oh, I can see on my table, I can show you. When I was in Dubrovnik, and honestly guys, Dubrovnik is so beautiful, but when I entered the old town, because they have like a separate section where the old town is, the first thing that I saw was this lady that was selling like stitched goods. And I thought I may, when I was walking around the old town, I saw a few more shops that were selling like these handmade like little decorations that were stitched. And I thought that, you know, I didn't have any souvenirs from that trip, really. Like, kind of, I didn't really buy stuff when I was away so much, other than like food and stuff, but not like souvenirs. But I thought, okay, I'm gonna bring myself one souvenir from this trip, and it's this little like a thing you can put on your table, or like a side, what do you call this? like on your furniture. Kind of like a tiny tablecloth, right? So I just wanted to show you guys. This is and I'll just put this behind. This is yeah, basically they were selling that in Dubrovnik, so it's Croatian stitching, and I thought it's really, really pretty. And that would actually be really, sorry, I've got my tea here, I'm just gonna move it. That would actually probably be really easy to make. You can see exactly where these are, just like, they're not cross stitch, they're like long stitches from one hole to another. So I'm just gonna try and show you this like that. I just thought that would be a nice thing to bring myself, to remember from this trip, from this crazy adventure, and also to show you guys what you can get in Dubrovnik that's stitchy. So I thought I'll show you today. Okay, now I'm gonna have a sip of my tea and then we can chat about cross stitch finally. Okay, so my original plan, which may, you know, I was trying to gather all the things that I've done since the last video, and I kind of made some notes. But if you know me, you know that I'm terrible at following my own notes and terrible at having any kind of plan. But my original plan was to kind of go in a chronological order, but it may be tweaked a little bit and I may probably get lost and distracted, so my plan may not work out. But I will try. So the first thing that I remember doing, that doesn't necessarily mean that was the first thing I did, but before I left Albania, I told you I had a couple of goals. Because I joined that group on Facebook because I'm going to retreat. I'm going to retreat next weekend, guys. Next weekend I'm traveling on Friday night, and then it starts on Saturday morning, so I'm staying there for 2 nights. So I'm gonna be there for Saturday the whole day and Sunday just the morning, and I'm gonna travel back to London after lunch or around lunchtime. But so yes, I'm going to cross stitch retreat, and so because of that I joined Facebook, and because of that I joined that Facebook group which is called Come and Stitch with Us, or Come Stitch with Us. I think Come Stitch with Us. But that's it's like a small group where which is organized by by the 2 people who are also organizing the retreat. And I may try and link it below if I know how to, but I'm not very good with Facebook, honestly. I'm barely ever on there. I'm not really technically on Facebook. I'm only on Facebook for this one group. But the person who is the main organizer is Sami from Lizzie's Little Loop Stitching. I can never remember the channel name, but I will link her channel below for you as well in case if you'd like to check out. She is really, really lovely. So her and another person named Andrea, and they are organizing the retreat, and they also organize that group which has like weekly challenges that you can basically there's like a theme that you can challenge yourself to maybe stitch so many stitches on a project that fits that theme, or you may want to start or finish or a project or a page or whatever your challenge. You set yourself a challenge and that matches the theme, and then at the end of the week or at the end of the month, because there are also monthly challenges, and then you can basically update everybody what you've managed to do. Some of the challenges I've managed to do, some of them I thought I was going to, and then I didn't manage to because I was stitching on other things. But the 2 goals that I told you before I was going to Albania, one of them was finishing a boat. Yeah, so because I think it was the end of summer week, and the theme was to stitch on something summery. So for that I wanted to stitch on The Seize the Day by the Caterpillar Cross Stitch. I will insert a picture here of what the finished design looks like, and I will also sorry, I'm so out of practice, I can't remember how to do this. Note that my videos are always chaotic and disorganized, but this one may be even more because I honestly can't remember how to do this. But yes, so you've seen what it's meant to look like when it's finished. Now I will insert, if I find it, the last picture from the last Flosstube when I showed it to show you where I was when the last time when you saw this. Okay, and the goal that I set myself for that week was just to finish the boat. And actually no, I think there was it starts already. It was to finish the boat, and there's also a fish under the boat. That's like a long fish. I wanted to also manage to stitch that fish, if I remember correctly, because that was a long time ago now, so I'm not sure, but I think that's what I said myself, and I think I achieved it. So, do I have that board again? Well, my cardboard envelope, which serves me as a board. That's the best thing I have. But so, there we are, here we are. let me move my tea again because this is gonna end really badly for my cross stitch. Okay, can you see it? I don't know if you can see it. The light is not great, is it? Okay, so now hopefully you can see it. I can't come too close to the camera because when I come too close to the camera it doesn't show, but this is where I am. So you should be able to see, so the jellyfish we already had, and we had these two fishes underneath as well, but now we also have the boat, yes, and we also have this fish here, the long fish, and some bubbles. So that's where we are. I will also insert a small, insert a picture here, taken with my back camera, just because I can't really bring it any closer because of the lighting and because this camera, the front camera, is not very good. So I'll insert a picture here, what it looks like, just to make sure that you guys can see where I am. But it's looking pretty good. It's a really fun project. It's very easygoing, very happy, very positive, and it's part of my hashtag, which I started, which is ongoing forever and for a long time at least, possibly forever. We can keep it going forever. So the hashtag is all things sea craft along, and it's really encouraging. If you have any projects from any crafts, any crafty projects that are related to the sea, then you can also post under this hashtag. It can be anything. It doesn't have to be a new start, it doesn't have to be a finish, it doesn't have to be anything at all. I just love seeing what you guys are working on and that is related to the sea theme, because I don't know, this year I've really been embracing the sea. And you know what, when I traveled to the seaside, I had such a great time. I was loving the sea, I was loving the beach, and I was loving like just being in water, and I was thinking, yeah, this year, there's just something about the sea this year that really, I don't know, maybe I just really like the sea, I don't know. But anyway, so that's where we are with this project. And I'm not sure when I'm gonna pick it up next. It may be a while now, because now I'm kind of in a slightly different mood for different projects. So I'm not sure when this is gonna come out again. But anyway, this is where we are now. I think this needle minder is from Just So Heavenly. I think so. But also it could be from Denkai Designs. I always say it. Because then I always think, actually, I'm not sure if it really is from Just So Heavenly. It may be from Denkai Designs. But yeah, most of my needle minders are from one of these shops. But also, if I have from a different shop, I will tell you guys. Because some of the needle minders actually know where they are from. Okay. And now let me look at my notes. Oh, the second goal, because I said that we had 2 goals, right? And that was the first goal. The second goal, I said I was going to stitch 1,000 stitches, because it was like stitch on your most ambitious project, and I said I was gonna stitch 1,000 stitches on my height, my big height, which is Max Colors Aquarius by Josephine Wall. Here's the picture. Here's the picture of what it should look like when it's finished. And what was I saying? Yes, so I said I was gonna stitch 1,000 stitches on it, which should, you know, I didn't have a lot of time, but it should be doable because I stitched in 10 stitch. So it's 10 stitch, 2/1 on 28 count, easy guide or easy grid, whatever it's called. And what else I wanted to say? I will show you guys in a minute. I'm just thinking, I feel like, oh yes, I wanted to say that I said I was going to stitch 1,000 stitches, but I didn't, even though I thought it was doable. But it turns out, well, I was stitching on something on, oh, I know, because I was, I wanted to finish a gift for my mother-in-law, to bring to Albania with me, which was an embroidery kit, which I recorded a video of when I was working on it, and it was a long video, but it also included me answering the crafty tag questions. So that's, I think that's the last video I posted, so you can have a look at that video if you want. But anyway, that embroidery kit, it took me longer than I expected, so because of that I didn't have as much time for other things as I thought. So I didn't manage 1,000 stitches before I went to Albania. I think I managed just over 500, But when I came back from Albania, was it maybe, yeah, just a few, I don't know if it was already maybe when I had COVID. Everything's blurring together now, but at some point I managed to stitch another 500, so I did eventually manage to get 1,000 stitches on it since the last video. So the last time you saw it, it was looking like this. Oh, I missed this, guys. This is really fun. And now, now again, my board. I need my board. Okay. Now we are here. I'm not sure if you're gonna see any difference whatsoever. I may try and put them side by side. So this is today. No. No, the light is not working with me. This is today. And here on my face, I'm gonna put what it looked like last time, and you can see if you can spot the difference. But basically, I think I managed to fill in some of that blue. I managed to put in some more blues around here, and I think I managed to fill in something here. Honestly, I don't remember, but I did. There is 1,000 new stitches in there somewhere. Okay, I think, did I stitch this? I think I stitched this. I think so. I don't know. But I am stitching it cross country kind of. So I'm going by color, not like for the whole piece obviously. But so I finished one page, and now I'm kind of working on the neighboring pages. And basically what I'm doing, I pick the first stitch. Let's say that's empty in here, because that's like the edge. I pick the first empty stitch, and I thread my needle of that color, and I will work on that color until either I run out of thread, or if I run out of close any nearby stitches. So by nearby, something that I can still extend the same thread, yes, so something that I can count around here, and that I have long enough thread to go, I will stitch it. But then if I don't have any more stitches to stitch with that color, or if I've run out of thread, then I will obviously finish stitching with that color for now, and then I go to the next empty stitch and then stitch with that one. So that's kind of my strategy, more or less, how I'm going with this. That's why it's kind of random. I'm not going like a lot of people are going in squares. I'm not doing that, or in diagonals. No, I'm not doing that. I'm just kind of going by color because I enjoy doing it more, I think, than I would enjoy going by squares. Okay, and yeah, so that's 10 stitch, 2/1 10 stitch, and the light is really not cooperating with me today at all. I'm trying to find, I don't know, I wanted to use a bit of sunlight, that's why I'm sitting here, and I was actually waiting for the sun to come out because earlier it was very cloudy, but the sun is kind of hiding behind, I don't know, it's not in the right place, and it's not working, but hopefully you can see it. It's not really showing very well. But that's the moon. That's the moon. Hopefully you can see it a little bit. I will try maybe insert the picture, but I don't think my picture is very good either. So really, this is a really rubbish Flosstube, guys. I'm sorry. I'm trying my best here. It's not this exciting anyway. It's pretty boring. You know, you can't really see very much yet on this. It's very slow going progress. I'm now at 11,369 stitches, which is equal to 4.43%. Okay, so that's that. Oh, more tea. I need to finish my tea. Okay, so the next thing that I stitched on, well, I'm skipping one thing, but I'll come back to that one thing later because that's kind of I'm gonna leave it for the end, I think, or near the end. But the next thing that I stitched on, very briefly, so literally another challenge that happened just like when I was about to go to Albania that week. That's when September started basically. So I think the theme of that week was to stitch on something that's related, or like that reminds you of your childhood, or like that's related to like going back to school, that kind of thing. And I have one project. This is actually my oldest whip, which I thought it's very cute, and actually it makes me think of like being a little, like back when I was a little girl, and I always used to go everywhere with my teddy cat. I still have him in my bedroom. yeah, and but he used to go everywhere with me. So Fairy Tales Live on the Rooftop is a kit by RTO, and now I just remember I need to find, where is it? Just to show you guys. Okay, so so I thought I could maybe do a day of stitching on this, and I managed, yeah, I did a day, and then this morning I added a few more stitches as well. But it's a really lovely kit. Though I had some issues with it when I first started it. I'm not going to bore you telling you the story again, but I'm stitching it on a different fabric to what was provided with the kit, because I restarted it on a different fabric. I will try and find a picture of where it was last time. And this time I decided to stitch on that top corner because I was missing a bit of a sky. I think basically I stitched some of the sky and I got bored with it. And I never finished the sky. And I thought, okay, well, why don't I at least try to get closer to finishing the sky, because it's kind of a boring bit. So if I get it out of the way, maybe it will motivate me to stitch more on it. Because right now, I don't know, I feel like there's a lot of boring stitching still to do on this one. But I'm getting there. Now I'm almost done with the sky. So basically, I stitched in that top left corner, or is it, I don't know, for you guys, is it top left? I don't know. This is annoying. I really should get a proper board one day. One day it will happen. Yeah, but so I stitched on this corner here. So that most of this wasn't actually here. Sorry, losing my voice. COVID still there. But yes, so most of the stitching is new. It wasn't there. I was filling this cloud earlier today, but I didn't manage to fill in the whole cloud. And again, the light is not being very helpful. I actually put my lights on, but it didn't seem to help. Well, when I keep it at this distance, hopefully you can see more or less what's happening. But so yeah, so I didn't manage to fill in that cloud completely. I did one thing which you probably won't be able to see, especially not from this distance. But I felt like you really can't see the bird very well, and the crown and the wings. And also, I don't know, I felt like they don't stand out at all. So I added a little bit of cranic, like white cranic. I've added to the crown, to the wings, and also to the bird. I added like a cranic outline around the bird. Yeah, and that added a little bit of sparkle, which you may not be able to see, but at least there is a bit more sparkle. And these bits are now a little bit more visible than they were. They're still blending a bit with the fabric, but I think they're more visible than they were previously. So that's what I did. Now for this one, I pre-recorded a little video with my back camera, just to show you guys what it looks like with my back camera, in case if you can't see it with my front camera. So I will insert that here for you, so that you can have a look what it looks like. It actually looks really pretty in real life, but it's one of these projects that I think are really hard to show on camera, because I think you really need to be close to it to really see the detail on it, and you really need that natural light to really see the colors, because a lot of them are very like, most of the colors are like pale blue, white and light grays. So they're not the best showing colors on camera, I think. But it's coming, it's getting there, like, well, yeah, it's starting to look much better now, I think, and it's starting to really come together. So yeah, maybe if every now and then I'll keep stitching on it, one day I will actually finish it. Though it is my oldest whip, honestly, guys. It doesn't ever really get a lot of stitching done for some reason. I don't know. I'll always I'll just add a few stitches and then it goes back to my box for weeks, and I don't take it out for a long time. So it's a bit of a shame, but one day it will get finished. Okay. I forgot to say the fairy tales live on the rooftops. Sorry about the noise. It's stitched on a fabric, which is a printed Aida fabric, 16 count, which I bought from Pulp Stitching, Pulp Stitching Aberdeen, which I think you can find them on Etsy still. It's a shop from Scotland, and basically they sell printed Aida. And it's really nice Aida. It's really soft and nice to work on, and you can wash it as well in like, well, not like probably very hot, but you can, because I think I wanted to wash something off and nothing happened to it, so it's quite safe. So it's a nice fabric and it wasn't expensive at all. And I think like when I ordered it, it literally like arrived in like 1 day. So it's really nice if you're in the UK. If you need a printed Aida, I would recommend that shop as well. Okay. Oh, what's next? Okay, so then I went to Albania and I was stitching on the plane, and my plane was delayed. I didn't have a lot of luck with my flights, but actually that was good because I had lots of stitch time, because we were stuck. They made us get on the plane, and then the plane couldn't actually depart. So we were just standing on the airport, inside the plane, for like, I think it's like an hour and a half. We were just sat at the airport in the plane, before it actually departed. So I had my stitching with me, so I was like, oh, that's fine, that's all right. And I had, because I thought, okay, what's a nice and portable project that I could just, because I think I just had a small, what did I have with me? Yeah, I just had a small kind of handbag. I can't even remember, guys, but yeah, I didn't have a large, like, I didn't have a suitcase with me in the cabin or anything, so, oh yeah, I had like a small backpack. So I took a small project with very few colors, and with small charts, so that it doesn't take a lot of space if I try and stitch it on the plane. And that project was, let me just find the cover again. Love is in the Air. Sorry about the crinkle. Ooh. Love is in the Air by the Cottage Garden Samplings. This one. Though I'm stitching it on like a bluish, yeah, blue-gray kind of fabric. I'm stitching it on 32 count Murano. Yeah, and what was I gonna say? I don't know. I'm not using really exactly the threads that are called for. Some of them I am, but I'm using the DMC. Because some of them you have two options. You have like gentle art or some other kind of thread, and the other option is DMC. So for these ones I use DMC, or there's some threads that I just happened to buy. I don't even remember exactly what happened, but anyway, they're not exactly called for threads. Not all of them are. Anyway, that's what I'm trying to say. Now, I haven't shown you this one in a while, I think. So I will try and dig out the picture of when you saw it, when it was last time. Okay. Here we go. Oh, here, this actually looks good in the light. Okay, so at least one of my projects you can see. That's positive. Actually, that looks much better. Actually, I tried to record this one with my back camera, and I gave up because I couldn't get the light right with my back camera. So I was like, you're never gonna see this, guys. But actually, this one looks good. I don't know how close I can show you before the light goes funny again. Ooh. Oh, look, I think you can actually see it, no? Yeah. So, the last time when you saw it, I probably didn't have very much of that second dove, because we established these are doves. But I was thinking about this, guys, when I was stitching it. The reason why I kept calling them pigeons, and then one of you guys have corrected me that, you know, you should be calling them doves, really, because doves are associated with love and whatnot, and that's probably right, but I didn't even realize that doves were different to pigeons. But to be honest, the reason why I didn't realize that is because in Poland, where I am from, I think, now you can correct me, I know I have some Polish subscribers, you can correct me, but I'm pretty sure we use the same word for dove and pigeon. At least I only know one Polish word for that bird. And when we have them at weddings, if you have doves at weddings, we still use the same word as we would call them when they're pigeons. So I think probably that's why I didn't even realize there was a difference between them. But in English there is. Oh, they actually look good on the camera. Yeah, that's exciting. Okay, I'm really happy for my doves. So yes, so last time I didn't have very much of the, I think this is a male. I think this is a male and this is a female. So I didn't have very much of the male dove, but now I managed to finish all of the outline. So all of the outlines are done. And they were a pain. Like, I enjoy stitching on this. It's a really nice project to stitch on. I'm having lots of fun with it. But stitching this outline was playing with my brain so much, and it required quite a lot of concentration, which was good when I was on the plane because I had nothing else to do, nothing else to concentrate on. So that was fine. But like, I couldn't really do it when I was like watching stuff because I couldn't really watch anything else other than the chart, and then I kept getting lost anyway. Because see, all these bits, they're very repetitive. They look very, very similar to each other. Same here. And so when you have the chart, I kept losing my place, and I would stitch one stitch and I go back to the chart. I'm like, where am I? And I kept getting lost like all the time. It was so confusing, guys. But finally, I've done the hard bit. I've done the outlines. So nice. Now the nice thing is that I just need to fill in those doves with one color of thread. So that's nice and easy. I don't need a chart for that. I can just sit away and just fill them in. So that should be really fun. I actually thought I may do it at the retreat. I don't know. I haven't decided yet what projects I'm taking to the retreat, but this is the kind of thing you could do when you're chatting to someone else, because you don't need to look at the chart at all. You just need to make sure that you're putting your thread in the right holes, but that's about it. So that could be a really nice thing to do at the retreat, that doesn't require too much concentration. I think when I showed it to you previously, I told you that the heart was finished, but actually then I realized I left all these, see these white bits here, or they're not white, but they're almost white. Yeah, I realized I like left them empty, so I had to fill them in as well. But once I fill in my doves, then all I have left to do is, well, it's the corner bits. Still, when you look at the chart, there's still quite a bit of stitching to be done. So there's a flower in this corner here, and then there's all the green bits here, and some green bits here, and some flowers at the end as well. So I still have quite a few things to stitch, but I think they're looking really lovely. I'm actually really enjoying looking at them here on the camera, so I'm quite happy with that. Yeah, so I think I told you everything. So yeah, I did swap some colors, and it's kind of hard to keep track of what exactly I swapped for what, because even the DMCs that I'm using are not all colors that they advise. So as you see here, these are quite dull, and I wanted to have like bright green, and also the yellow in the key. The key was originally like brown, so I've changed it to yellow. But these greens are much brighter than what was originally charted. Because I have to tell you this, guys, and I know that some of you may not like what I say, because it's a bit controversial. But a lot of these designs from companies like Cottage Garden Samplings, or lots of other companies which are kind of imitating the more antique style. See, I really love seeing other people stitch the antique reproductions and whatnot, and I really like some of them as well. Like I could potentially stitch them, but the thing is, I don't really, personally, for me, if I was to stitch them like this one for example, and that, like, rather than making them look very antique, I prefer to have brighter kind of colors, than the antique style colors. So for me, I tend to swap them, the dull colors, for brighter colors, just because it's my personal preference. But I also love seeing other people stitch them, you know, more kind of like similar to what maybe the colors look on the antique samplers and stuff. I love seeing other people do it. It's just that personally, when I stitch things, I prefer to have bright colors. It's just the thing. But all stitching is beautiful. It's just a personal kind of choice. Okay, anyway, so that's this one. What else? I feel tired already. So I took 2 projects with me to Albania. So this was one, and I only stitched on it on a plane. And I think, yeah, that's about it. I only stitched on it on the plane. The rest of my stay in Albania, although I didn't stitch every day when I was there. There was a few days that I didn't stitch at all because it was very busy. There was lots of things happening. And also we were outside a lot, but I did some stitching on the beach. And then once when I went to Dubrovnik, once when I was by myself at the hotel, and then when I was in, well, to be fair, not in the hotel with the stranger, because that was really strange already, so I wasn't stitching at that hotel. But then when I was in Dubrovnik by myself in a hotel and traveling to Dubrovnik, and then I think at the airport again, I did a little bit of stitching. So I did manage to get some stitching, but maybe not as much as I thought during my stay in Albania. But yeah, so my second project, sorry, I'm losing my train of thoughts. But my second project, you know what it was. Well, I was going to the seaside, so I had to take this project, especially that I really wanted to make progress on this one. Originally, I thought I was going to finish it before the retreat, but because I was trying to stitch other things for first the gift for my mother-in-law, then I didn't have that much stitchy time as much as I thought when I was away. And then I was trying to finish some things when I got back, and I was also stitching some smalls for the retreats. So in the end, I decided I'm not going to finish it because I have other things I want to stitch, and because I don't want to put that pressure on myself, because I would have to like keep stitching on this project like a lot to finish it, and I didn't want to take the joy out of it. So I didn't finish the project. You know what I'm talking about, right? It's the seahorse. The seahorse is not finished. I've done a lot of progress on it, and it's looking gorgeous. I may take it as a whip to the retreats so that people can see it in person. But yeah, it's not going to be finished for the retreat, but it's fine because I finished other things, so yay! But yes, so I'll show you the seahorse. But I stitched on it when I was away, and then I think like the first day when I had COVID, I think the first day when I was like in bed, I did some more stitching on it as well. But then I decided I'm tired of stitching on it now, and I need to change to a different project. So I haven't stitched on it since, basically. So it's been stitching, but I'm very happy with it. I think it's looking beautiful. So the seahorse is a seahorse by Leslie Tier. And I will insert the picture here of what it's meant to look like when it's finished. And so yeah, I'm stitching it from one of the older it was published in a magazine basically, and I got that magazine online, like an online edition of it. So I'm stitching from that, and I will tell you in the description below. I leave details for all the projects I'm stitching, and there you can find which magazine issue that was, because I can't remember. I think that was the World of Cross Stitching. What was I gonna say? I feel like my voice is getting really tired. Yes. So you saw what it's meant to look like when it's finished. Now I will show you where it was last time when I showed you it. Okay. Now Now this is stitched on a 16 count aida, but it's hand dyed aida from Hand Dyed by Rolanda, which is a shop in Canada, also on Etsy. And it's an opalescent aida. I don't know if it's got a name, but it's like an ocean kind of colors. Well, I think it looks like an ocean. It's beautiful. And this crab needle minder is from Denkai Designs. But this is guys, isn't he gorgeous? Honestly, I think, you know what? Part of the reason why I haven't been pushing myself to finish it, because I kind of want to enjoy it for a bit longer. Because, I don't know, there's something really magical about this design. And there's something really lovely about stitching on it. And I maybe just didn't want to finish it so quickly. Maybe I wanted to leave it for a bit longer, you know, so I can keep stitching on it for a bit longer and admire it as I stitch on it. But I think it's so beautiful. It makes me so happy, the seahorse. Look at it, guys. Oh my goodness, it is gorgeous. Yeah, so most of the stitching, well, so I finished this took much longer than I thought. Honestly, this took me a very long time to stitch than wings or fins, so whatever you call them. That is done in cranic, like a light blue cranic. You may be able to see some sparkle when I put in the light. I'm not sure if you can see the sparkle, but there's a lot of sparkle in the wings and in the fabric as well. The outlines are also done in cranic, so it's a dark blue kind of peacocky cranic. It's gorgeous. So I've done some of the tail. I filled in all of the gaps here, except for these lines. I haven't done the lines yet. But there's still meant to be more of a belly here, like in yellows, which I haven't stitched yet. And then there's more obviously going down. And then there's some seaweed or whatever, seagrass around here, and beads as well around here. So that still needs to be done. And of course all the back stitching, all the outlines in cranic again. So there's still quite a bit of stitching left, but I'm not in a rush. You know what, guys, I'm not gonna just finish it for the sake of finishing it, because it's just too much fun. This is one of my favorite ever projects I've stitched on, honestly. I love the colors, I love the fabric, I love the cranic, I love the sparkle. I just love it. And it's so cute. and it's sea themed, so it's, you know, it keeps my hashtag going as well. And yeah, I stitched on it on a beach, and actually there was an Albanian lady that came up to me and started asking me about it because she thought it was so beautiful. Yeah, it's great. I can't stop. I'm just gonna hold it up forever because I can't stop looking at it. It looks so gorgeous in the camera. Yeah, but anyway. Yeah, that makes me happy. You know when stitching makes you happy. There are some projects, a lot of projects I just like, you know, I just enjoy stitching on them, but there are some projects that I'm like, whoa. That is special, you know, and that's, yeah, I think that may be my favorite project to date, so I'm just gonna take my time enjoying it, you know. Right, okay, moving on. Okay. We are getting there, guys. I may just need to take 5 minutes because I need to regain my voice. I may make some more tea if that's okay with you guys. It will just be a second for you. Okay, I've got some fresh tea with lemon and honey, though I forgot that it was hot and I just tried drinking it and I just burned my tongue. But at least I've got some tea, so that's good. We're almost there, but there's still a few things to talk about. So yeah, I'm sorry, I know it's a long video, but a lot of updates because it's been a long time and I've been stitching like crazy because the retreats are coming up. So I've got one this weekend, well, the next weekend, And then I've got the Stitching in London, or Stitch in London, I think it's called, the weekend after. So I've got 2 weekends of retreats coming up. So I was trying to finish a lot of things before I go for the retreats and make progress on things as well. Yeah, but that also means next Sunday I will not have time to record. So again, there will probably be a gap in my videos, or I may, during the week, one of the evenings, I may try and record some diamond painting video, but not a Flosstube. Sorry. And then there's the Stitch in London. So Stitch in London, I've decided, because it's 2 weekends in a row, and because also I will need to have like my violin lesson, and I need to tidy up and stuff. So Stitch in London I will attend, because Stitch in London is 3 days retreat, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I will only attend Friday and Saturday, and I think Sunday I will need the time to get back to my normal life and stuff, because my flat and other things that I will need to do. So I think probably Stitch in London I will just attend 2 days out of 3. Anyway, it may be too much. I don't know. I've never been to a retreat before, and I'm not sure. Now I signed up for 2. Let's see if I even like it. Hopefully. I'm sure everybody's going to be really, really lovely, and it'll be really, really fun to meet people. I know that some of my viewers are going as well, so if you are seeing this, I hope to see you next week, or the week after if you're going to Stitch in London. It will be so exciting to meet you guys in person. If you see me, because obviously you know what I look like, and you will hear me, right, with my laughter. So if you see me or hear me, please come up and say hello, because I may not know that you are one of my viewers. I will probably not know. So please don't be shy, especially that I'm actually very shy. You will see it, but I know I do Flosstube, but I am actually a really shy person, and I have trouble coming up and talking to strangers, so please come to me and talk to me so that I don't feel so shy and alone. And at least, you know, there'll be someone there who knows me, because I don't know anybody, so that would be really nice. Okay. Right, so what was I gonna say? Okay, so I think the next thing I'm gonna show you, because I have one more whip to show you, and then I have finishes to show you, although you've been looking at one the whole video. But I'm going to talk about it a little bit, but this is not my only finish. So, okay. So I think this is the last whip that I have to talk about. And I actually stitched a bit on it last night. So I stitched on it once when I had COVID one evening, but actually I realized that I had a mistake in it from weeks ago, and I had to frog out that mistake, and then I tried to correct that mistake, and well, I tried to stitch it again, and I stitched a bit further, and then I realized I'm wrong again, so I had to frog again. So I didn't really make a lot of progress, but last night I finally made some progress. But for some reason this project is giving me a hard time, and I'm doing a lot of frogging. I feel like I stitch a few stitches and I'm like, oh no, it's wrong again. So I don't know if I'll ever do a lot of progress on. It's possible that what I've done last night is all wrong, basically, and I'll have to frog it all out. We'll see. But it's another one of these projects. I feel I love it. I really love it. I was excited about it from the moment I saw it the first time when it was released. It's the Moons of 2022 by Kathy Barrick. It's my first ever Kathy Barrick that I'm stitching. I love her designs. Well, I love her. She seems like a lovely person. So she's the mom of Hello from Liz Matthews, or Liz Matthews from Hello from Liz Matthews. And their videos, they always do a video together when they have new releases. I love those videos because they are so sweet, and what they show their model stitching and everything they show, I'm like, oh, I want to stitch that, I want to stitch that, I want to stitch that. They are amazing designers. I think they both have such cute and lovely designs. And I'm not really a person that really enjoys like samplery type of designs, but their designs, they're like, I don't know, I really love them, even though they are a bit on the samplery side, but I really love them. And so I really enjoy seeing those new releases video, but I get very enabled. By the way, there's a new release from Cafe Barrick. Well, there's a couple, but there's one that I really, really want to stitch. Is the Winter Moth. Yeah, the Winter Moth. Oh, I think it's gonna be so gorgeous, guys. I think honestly, now that I'm stitching this, last night I was thinking I'm gonna start collecting Cafe Barrick's charts because I want to stitch them all. Or most of them at least. But yeah, so I'm not stitching it though, the full version. So Kathy, she gave an option to stitch it, and she showed both models for both of them when that was released. I think that was released for Nashville. I think so, or the other market. There's like 2 markets, no? The ones in spring, whatever markets are happening in the spring, that was released in the spring 2022. And on the video you can find it on the channel from Hello from Liz Matthews. On that video with new releases, she showed both models for both versions, basically. So one version is this, and the other version basically doesn't include that table of names of the moons. It's just the top part squished together with the bottom part without the middle. And I really like that, but I also really like this kind of border motif. I think this is really nice. For some reason I really like it. And I thought, oh, I like everything about this chart except maybe like that table of names. I'm not very big on stitching letters anyway, on stitching text. And I preferred the other bits around the text. So I thought, and actually, so I ordered this. And then I looked at the chart, and basically these bits together, so the scored version, that's 150 stitches tall. And these things, they're 170 stitches tall. So there's only 20 stitches difference. And what I'm trying to do, which may be a complete failure of an experiment, but I'm a scientist, so I love experiments, so I had to give it a go. But basically, I'm trying to stitch it, extend it sideways, basically, so that add this border to the size of the squished version. And I worked out, because it's 20 stitches difference. If I leave 10 stitches up here and 10 stitches down here and fit in... Am I making any sense? Hopefully that's making some sense, but I'm trying to fit in the squished version between these borders. And I don't know what it's gonna look like when it's done. We're gonna find out. But I started stitching that border, and that's giving me real grief. That's the bit that I keep getting wrong. That border, for some reason, my brain doesn't process this at all. I keep getting it wrong. But I did manage to stitch a fair bit of it now. Okay, so I need to board again. So I've never shown it to you before. I've showed it on my whip parade because that's when I first started it. And I just had literally just this one. I think they're like acorns or something or like nuts of some sort. I don't know. So I had one, that was it. So I did make progress since then. This is sideways. How should I put this? I think... This is gonna be hard to show. This needle minders, yeah, because I forgot to say earlier, this needle minder, I had a similar one for my Aquarius project. It was slightly different. Where was it? Yeah. This one. This is the moon one, and the other one is the sun one. This is the moon, and the one actually, both of these projects have moons in them, so I had to choose one. But this one also has a moon, but the moon is much smaller. But the main thing is the sun. They come from a shop on Etsy as well that's called Crafty Cat. I wrote it down. Crafty Cat Knitty Bits. And I really like these needle minders. They're really lovely. Okay, I don't know if you can see this. This is not straight. This is stitched on my, you may notice, I really love 32 count Murano. This may be my favorite fabric to stitch, I've decided. I do like 32 count. If I stitch on Aida, I would normally stitch on 16 count or sometimes on 18 count. very rarely on 14 count. If I can avoid it, I will not stitch on 14 because I don't like it that much. And yeah, I think my favorite fabric is evenweave, because it's so nice and even rather than like linen having these uneven things. And yeah, so 32 count Murano is my go-to, really it is. And I'm really enjoying this one. This is antique white. Antique white. I don't use very many hand-dyed fabrics, you will notice. I occasionally do, but I do tend to just use simple non-hand-dyed fabrics. Mainly because they're cheap, but also because I'm afraid I will not be able to wash them if I get a stain on them, or just because I may have dirty hands or sweaty hands. And yeah, so I don't tend to use them so very much, but also yeah, because they're so expensive. And in the UK, actually, there aren't that many shops that sell them, and then you have to wait, also because you have to wait so long. If you order from some shops, they have to dye them, and it takes like 6 to 8 weeks before you get the fabric. By that time I already forgot what I even ordered the fabric for. So yes, I don't use that many hand-dyed fabrics. Anyway, that long introduction to this. And this is, yeah, antique white 32 count Murano. And so this is, yes, this is the start of my border. And this is, so last night I decided I'm gonna try and figure out where the start of the middle bit is. So this is that first star, that one there. Yeah, so I've stitched that first star. And so this is the top 10 stitches, which are empty here. So this is the difference between the border and this. And so there should be hopefully the same amount of empty stitches at the bottom when I get to the bottom of the border. Anyway, I mean, it's maybe hard to show on camera, but I think this is really gorgeous, even though I barely have anything stitched. But I think this is going to be so beautiful. The model stitching on that video I saw from Kathy, oh, the model stitching, when I saw it, I was like, I have to stitch this. And I think this will be really, really beautiful when it's done. Even though it's a long way and there's a lot of stitches to be done. I actually thought this would also be a really nice thing to stitch on a retreat, because that sky, there's just a lot of stitching in one color. Yeah, so actually that could be a nice thing, because it's very monotonous and you don't have to look at the chart a lot as well. But it's a big piece of fabric that I have, because I'm not sure exactly how much. I could work it out, but I'm afraid to cut it. It's a large piece of fabric, and I prefer to bring something smaller, I think, to the retreat. So I'm not sure yet if I will bring it. Maybe to one of the retreats to stitch on. Yeah, but I love it so far. I'm really excited to see what it's gonna look like when it's finished. Okay, and I stitched it in DMC. So there are two options that Kathy gave. Where's the other side? Here. So one option is NPI. Is that silks? I think that's silks. I don't know. I'm not very good at threads. I'm quite new to stitching. I don't know these things. But so one option is NPI and the other one is DMC. And I'm just stitching in DMC. And I replaced one already because I didn't have the one she asked for, and I really wanted to stitch that border, so I replaced it with another one that I thought worked. That red one. Yeah, that one. Basically, that's not what's charted, but that's fine. It looks good, I think. Okay. Now I can, maybe my tea is cooler now, so I can actually drink it now, and then I will show you my finishes. Also, before I forget, because I always forget these things, I mentioned my All Things Sea Craft Along hashtag. I always love seeing what you guys post under this hashtag, and I had a new post just this last week. Melanie M, who previously posted, she was stitching on a lighthouse from Dimensions, that I think I mentioned a few videos ago. She now started another project which is also sea related, and she also posted under my hashtag, and she's stitching on a Haid from on a Haid, but which is artwork by Hannah Lynn, and the title of the artwork is Mini Chelsea's Gift, I think, but I scribbled so badly on my notes that I think this is gift. Chelsea something, but it's a lovely mermaid with like octopus and like some sea creatures by Hannah Lynn. And Melanie posted a picture I will insert here on, so this is what it should look like when it's finished, and a picture of her. She started stitching the outlines of the mermaid. When you post under this hashtag, I do try to share your posts in my videos, because I appreciate it so much that you guys are taking part and sharing your projects with me, and I think it's a great thing to share our projects with each other, to also maybe inspire other viewers to, you know, maybe they're looking for new projects. We all like enabling each other, so that's why I like sharing these projects. So thank you so much, Melanie, for sharing yours with us. We've had some lovely ones. I think on my last video I forgot to mention, but I inserted someone made a crochet seahorse, which I really loved as well. Yeah, so fun. I haven't had time for crochet, I have to say. My crab is there's not been much progress at all, but it's gonna happen. Maybe I need to get through the retreats and whatnot, but I'm gonna come back to my crochet as well, to stitch some more funny animals and whatnot. Okay, but back to my finishes. So yes, when I came back from Albania, and also actually even before I went to Albania, I was trying to get closer to finishing one of my projects. And then I came back from Albania, and it was September, and everybody knows September is a sampler September, and it's the start of autumn, and I wanted to finish my autumn sampler from Satsuma Street, which is this lovely one here. So I fully finished it it was just a few days ago. I don't remember when, but just a few days ago I just finished it on a sticky board, so it's just a flat finish and nothing special. But I decided you know, I'm just gonna display it on a little easel. I got the easel from Hobbycraft UK. It just costed like £4 or something. And yeah, it's you have to put the easel together, which is also fun by yourself. But it all worked out in the end, and I think this looks really nice when you put it like that. So just to show you guys from more close up, this is the Autumn Sampler by Satsuma Street, and this one is stitched on 28 count Cashel linen, in a color which I don't remember, but it's kind of like a beige kind of color. I think it's ivory. It's called, but it's not actually ivory. It's more like beige. But I think it was called ivory, if I remember correctly. Yeah. So it was really fun. Actually, when you last, rewind. But I think I haven't stitched on it since last autumn. So maybe around October or November last year I stitched on it last, and then because autumn was almost over, I moved on to like winter stitching. I left it. I think at that point I stitched these 5 squares and a little bit of this one, and now when I came back from Albania I picked it back up and I just kept stitching on it with COVID. It was actually really nice COVID stitching for me. I stitched on it during the Queen's funeral as well, that I was watching on TV. Yeah, and I managed to finish it, and so that's really nice to finish this for autumn. And actually, when you heard me talk about it a year ago, I was actually complaining that I didn't enjoy stitching on it a lot. One, because I didn't really enjoy this linen very much. Maybe Cashel linen is not my favorite fabric to stitch on. But then I came to liking it a bit more now, and I think these motifs here, I really enjoy stitching them, especially these two. I think they were really nice to stitch. So somehow I enjoy stitching on it more now after coming back to it after a year. So sometimes maybe you just need a break from a project and then you come back to it. Actually, it's not so bad. This is just using DMC floss, all as charted. I didn't make any substitutions. So some of it is variegated DMC, like that one in the border. You may see some variegation in the squirrel and the leaf as well. So all of this is variegated DMC. And actually, when I fully finished it like this, I think it's looking really cute. I really actually enjoy it. I think it turned out really nicely. And I think I'm gonna take it with me to the retreat to put on the table, hopefully for other people to see. Yeah, so I think that turned out really nicely. And now that I have this lovely easel, I think, well, I'm gonna need to figure out something else to put on it once autumn is over. Although right now I don't have anything, so it may not happen immediately, but I will eventually, one day I would like to be able to replace projects on it. So when seasons change, or if I just feel like I want to put something else on it, having a few different projects to rotate would be really great. I'm not really sure yet if I will want to stitch the other season samplers from Satsuma Street. I'm not yet convinced, because I did complain about this one quite a lot when I was stitching it initially. Potentially I will stitch all 4 seasons, or it may be that I'll stitch something else for winter, or I don't know. I will not start the winter one now, the Satsuma Street one, because I'm not convinced that's what I want to do just now. But maybe in the future I will. I haven't decided yet. Yes, but anyway, so for now we have the autumn, and you can find these charts. I just got the PDF from Etsy as well, but I think Satsuma Street you can find also even the paper charts from shops and stuff. They seem to be everywhere. I keep seeing them everywhere lately. Okay, but I have another finish. Let me get a sip of tea. Okay, so my second finish, I'm very happy about as well. It's the watercolor heart from the little room in the attic. And I framed it, and I think the frame is really good. I'm really happy with this frame, even though I just got it from eBay. But I think it really suits this project, and I framed it yesterday, and I'm just really happy with how it's looking. So I still don't have like bits to hang it up, you know, like in the back of the frame. So it's got this thing, but it's actually too far anyway. But you know, like you need to make these hooks. I need to figure out something that I can stick to actually hang it on the wall. My mom really likes it, so I think I'm gonna give it to my mom to hang in her house. Because I also, you know, I don't really have that much room, and also I rent, so I can't hang too many things on the walls at the moment. So I think a lot of things that I stitch will go to my parents' house, and they can hang there, because they've got a big house, they've got lots of walls, so they can put stuff in there. And my mom seems to really like this one. It's kind of more, the frame is a bit old-fashioned, and her house is a bit like a mix between modern and old-fashioned, and I think it will work. So anyway, here is my watercolor heart from the little room in the attic. Dum, da, da, da. Okay, so let me see if I can bring it a bit closer. Yeah, what do you guys think? It's lovely, no? It's really, really lovely. So, oh my goodness, finishing this project took me forever and ever and ever. It felt like it was never going to end. I felt like I was so close to the finish, but then there's a lot of confetti in here, a lot of color changes, a lot of blends. So even though it looks like it's really small, it's not. And then once you get all the cross stitching and half stitches done, then there's the back stitch. Back stitch in like 15 different colors. Some of the colors, some of it is with 1 strand, some of it is in 2 strands. And then then there's the French knots in like I think 7 different colors. I felt like it was never gonna end. I felt like I was gonna die. Also, I think I was also finishing it when I had COVID, and I was like, I was literally gonna die and never stitch this project. It took forever, but I think it was worth it. No, guys, what do you think? I think my camera's being better than usual today. No, can you see it? It's actually being better now. Not like before you couldn't see anything, but now it seems to be better. You never know with these cameras, right? What they're gonna do. But yeah, it makes me happy. It's a completely different kind of stitching, but that's what you're gonna see with me on this channel. If you ever come back to this channel after this video, which is super long, I stitch a lot of different things. And I like to alternate, I like to vary things up. So I generally, when I stitch on one project for a few days, but sometimes I may just stitch on one for one evening. But generally, on most days, I will not stitch on more than one project. It's at least like one day on one project, and then maybe the next day I either continue on the same one or I may pick a different one. But I do like changing between different kinds of projects. So as you see, even today, I've shown you lots of different kind of stitching, and that's what I really like. It's never gonna be the same thing over and over. And the little room in the attic is one of my favorite designers. She kills me. She kills me with the backstitch. She kills me with the blends, with the color changes. But I think there's something really beautiful, really delicate about her designs. Also really whimsical, really like these pastel colors, the kind of whimsical designs. I love them, and I already got a few charts from her in my stash, and there's a few more that I want to order from her. I think she's just a lovely designer. She's got her own website now. I think you can browse on the website, but you may need to like email her what you want to order, and then you can pay via PayPal. Unless that's changed, but it's because Maria, who runs the shop, she's from Russia, and at the moment, of course, it's difficult to order things from Russia. So she kind of found a workaround. Yeah, you can still pay through PayPal, but you may need to message her to say what you want to order. But anyway, I think this is beautiful. Surprise, surprise, this is stitched on 32 count Murano in color lilac. Okay, so you see a theme. Again, I just framed it on a sticky board. I know it's a bit cheeky, I know, honestly, I've considered lacing or trying. I've never laced anything. I considered trying to lace it or pin it, but then it was so easy to just do it on a sticky board. It doesn't take long. For small projects at least, it's really easy to do. It worked out really good. And I think, honestly, if you really wanted to remove it one day from the sticky board, I think you can. Because when I stick them, when I was doing the autumn sampler, I actually stuck it incorrectly initially, and then I had to like remove it, re-stick it and stuff, but it's not like permanently stuck on it. So I think there's a way of removing if you're worried about that. I don't know, but I really enjoy, for me, it's like the easiest way of finishing things is to put them on the sticky board. So I do that, at least for the small projects, I do that. I'm very happy with this. I feel like I've achieved so much despite having COVID and adventures. I think I've achieved a lot. It's not the end, but I was a bit like on, what do you call this? Well, there's an expression. I don't know, but it's like I was on the fence, but that's not what I wanted to say, but it's like I was on the fence about this. Whether I should show this on my Flosstube or not, because I'm not sure what is the etiquette. Because I've never been to a retreat before. But in case if you are going to the retreat that I'm going to, and you don't want to know what I've been stitching, because there are small exchanges happening for, first of all, for the Floss Friends retreat next weekend, and then the Stitch in London retreat the following weekend. For Floss Friends UK, the theme is autumn, so any small stitching that's less than 5 inches that's autumn themed, you can bring it and you can do a small exchange. And then for Stitch in London, it's up to you. You can stitch whatever small, if you'd like to take part in a small exchange. I've never ever taken part in a small exchange. I didn't even know if I would initially, because I'm not actually very good at stitching smalls because I don't know how to finish them. And then I was like, also, oh, then I have to stitch another new thing, and I already have so many projects. But then I had an idea. A little warning, because I forgot to finish the sentence earlier. If you are going to the retreat and you don't want to see what smalls I stitched, please switch off now. Because I'm gonna show you some smalls, and I don't want to spoil the fun in case if you want to be surprised at the retreat. Okay. So I started looking for small autumn projects, and then I saw something that gave me this idea, and that was also motivated by Liz Matthews from Liz Matthews, because I know, well, in one of her new releases, she showed how to finish it into a paperweight, and it was so cool. It was like a botanical, like a flower, and you can even put like this botanical little paper that it looks honestly like someone like collected and dried the flower and then put a label and put it in a glass. It's so cool. But anyway, she did a tutorial video how to finish small cross stitch into paperweight, and then I found these little charts, and I thought they could look really cute as paperweights if I find a paperweight that's the right size. And I did. I went on eBay. I looked on eBay and I found, because initially I thought I'll make one for each retreat, but that was maybe a bit ambitious because I've never made a paperweight before. And also then I kind of wanted to keep one for myself now. But I ordered two. I managed to find two antique paperweights that were the right size, and I stitched. So okay, so one, first of all, I'll just show you a picture of what I stitched before I made it into the paperweight. So that's one, that's the owl with the coffee mug. That was my first one. And then the second one is another little bottle with leaves and the mushroom and the snail. So I stitched them on the same fabric as I was stitching my doves on, because I had leftover fabric. Yes. And I thought they were so cute. I got the charts from Etsy as well. The shop is called Thousands Patterns. I'll put it in the description below. Thousands Patterns. Okay. And yeah. Look guys. Look. That's one. That's the other one. How cool is that? How cool is that? Now, they are not at all perfect. Well, because I've never made one before and it's not that easy. I struggled, so that was my first one. And I was actually initially very disappointed when I made it. I was like, oh, it's not good. But now I've had it on my table. I was actually using it as a paperweight, but for my, you know, when you diamond paint and you have to pull the cover, I was using it just to weigh down my cover, and I really love it. And I kept looking at it every day, and every day I look at it, I like it even more. But I did make some mistakes when I was making it, and if you look really carefully, you're gonna see them. But to be honest, you have to really, really like, you know, be really picky. I think they're not so bad, and that second one I did much better. So I'm gonna insert a little video that I recorded on my table earlier, where I'm showing you these paperweights from more close up, and just saying a few things about them as well. So you can watch that and then we'll come back. Okay. Enjoy. Hi guys, I'm having lighting issues, but hopefully you can see these are the two paperweights that I made, just in a bit of a close-up. So yes, I just wanted to show you them side by side in from my back camera. So I've got my owl and the, I don't know, the autumn leaf and mushroom and the snail. So they're not perfect by any means, especially the owl. I had quite a few issues with the owl and I cut it too small. So if you would look very carefully, you're gonna see I had to put like another layer of fabric underneath to hide it a bit, but it was I cut my fabric too short and then it started fraying, so the edge is a bit visible. But other than that, it's fine, and I've got a piece of black felt underneath. And the same for this one. This one I was, well, I guess I've learned a few things, so it was a bit easier to do this one. I used some tricks to help myself out. So this one I'm happier with, although the back you can see is not perfect. I've got some fabric coming through here, but I actually glued this onto the glass to help make sure that it doesn't come off. So I left it in here just as the edge because I felt like my felt was a bit too small, so I left that fabric here. And there's a little bit of glue here. So they're not perfect, but I think they're pretty cool, no? I really love them. I've never done anything like this before. So even though they're not perfect, I'm actually really happy that I managed to do them. Oh, I found my needle, guys. I thought I've lost it, but there it is. I was wondering where it went. Okay, right. Sorry. I'm just glad I found it because I was worried it was somewhere on the carpet. But anyway, so so these are my paperweights. I hope you like them. It was quite a lot of fun stitching them and making them, even though also it was a little bit stressful because I didn't want to ruin them after I stitched them. But they didn't take very long. And yeah, I think they're lovely. They're looking, you know, they're quite original. I've never seen anything like this, and yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about them. Have you ever made your own paperweight? Let me know. Okay, so hopefully now you've seen the close-up of my paperweights. Again, the lighting today has been playing up. It's the autumn light. We've had like sun and no sun and I hope you could see them in a bit more close up. They're not perfect, so I've shown you some imperfections there because I did have trouble like cutting the fabric to fit inside the paperweight and then cutting the felt to stick on the outside of paperweight. And to be honest, I'm not sure how well this is stuck. And I'm just hoping whoever gets, so what I'm thinking, I'll keep the owl for myself. This is the less perfect one, and because I love owls anyway. But I'm thinking this one, hopefully I can give it to someone at the retreat. I don't know, do you guys think I should? Maybe you think it's, I don't know. Would you be happy if someone gave it to you? I don't know, as a small. I don't know, I thought it would be nice to give to someone. I hope that the felt won't get unstuck. I did use so when you first get it, obviously it comes with the old felt, and you can soak it in water with soap. And when you soak it, then you can peel off the felt. And I used the felt which has adhesive on it, but then I just stuck, for this one, I actually stuck my cross stitch on the felt so it doesn't move, so it was easier to put it inside. But then once I did that, I realized my felt is kind of small. Even though I used the other felt as a template, for some reason that felt was a bit small. And I hope this is sticking well enough. So I used fabric glue to stick the felt and the actual here, the cross stitch fabric as well, onto the glass. And it seems to be holding well enough on this one, but I wouldn't want to try and peel it too hard because I think maybe it may come off. Hopefully it won't, but yeah, don't know. I don't want to try, I just want to leave it as it is. Yeah, I don't know, guys. Would you be happy getting it from someone at the retreat? I don't know. It is autumn theme. I think this one's really cute. I think this one is the better one because there's no frayed edges or anything dodgy. And I do like the design. I think it's really cute. Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe I should, maybe it was a stupid idea, I'm not sure, but I'm quite happy. You know, I've never done anything like this, so that was really fun. Like, I think like lately I've been more creative and a bit more brave, and I want to try keep doing new things. I don't know, it's fun. And then the very last thing I wanted to talk to you about is my other small, which I'm stitching for the Stitch in London. So I've decided I'm gonna keep the owl for myself. So I'm not going to give this one away. But I thought, also I think in Stitch in London, I don't know, I think it's going to be a different kind of retreat. I don't know, I think it's maybe a bit more, well, I know 3 people that are going from the Flosstube community. And I think they're more into like sampler stitching and more traditional kind of stitching. Well, I think Flosstube, Floss Friends UK, the first retreat is more kind of, I don't know, varied. I don't, but to be honest, I have no idea who else is going to stitch in London. There's gonna be like 70 people, so I'm sure they're stitching lots of different things as well. But anyway, I felt, since also so you can stitch anything, and I actually went on, well, I went on a few websites, but I went on the Modern Folk Embroidery to see if they have if Jacob has any smalls. And he had this small folk heart that you can make into like a hanging bit or like a scissor fob. That was quite big for a scissor fob. I'm not sure. I don't really know what scissor fobs should be like. But anyway, I could just make it like a little hanging decoration. I'm gonna put a picture here of what it's meant to look like when it's finished. And actually Jacob just, well, in his suggestion, it's only the stitching is only on one side and the other side is just the outline of the heart. But I kind of wanted it to be two-sided, so I'm going to stitch, I've stitched the front, well, I've stitched one side already. And then here, I started the other side. But I did make it a bit difficult for myself. I mean, I could print this out at work, but I didn't print out the chart. I could use it, no, actually PDF, I have to rotate. So basically, what I'm talking about, I used Pattern Keeper for that first heart. And then I just like, I left a gap and I just started stitching here without looking at the chart, like the, kind of like a mirror, right? So basically, yeah, well, you can turn it around, and so this is like the bottom of the heart now. But now I can't turn my Pattern Keeper to be, I don't know if you can rotate the Pattern Keeper. So, and I need to be stitching in this direction because my stitches are going in this direction, and if I turn my fabric, then I'm gonna get really confused about the direction of my stitches because I always stitch the same way. So now I'm kind of looking at this and at the top one and copying the pattern upside down, and it's just got really confusing. So I kind of put it aside for a few days because I got tired of it. But I've got one side of the heart, then I'm gonna make the other side of the heart, and I'm just going to sew it like based on, I made this like one line of just straight stitching around the heart because that's what I previously did when I made Biscornu. That's how I joined the bottom and the top. So I'm just gonna do it the same way because I'm not sure how else you can do it. So I'm just gonna use these straight stitches to join the two sides together, to sew it together. And I'm gonna try then to sew, I've got like a little, let me see if I can get it. I got this off eBay, which is like a little cord kind of thing that you can put it around and then hopefully make it into like a hanging bit somehow. No, I don't know how yet, but I'm going to try. I don't know. But yeah, so I got this one, and then I matched the closest floss color I could think of to this was 815. So I'm just using that, and I think that will work together really nicely. So hopefully that will work out, but I don't know, that's still work in progress. So technically a whip. I know I told you earlier that was my last whip, but actually this is my last whip. Anyway, but this is the last thing I wanted to show you today. I'm very sorry that this was such a long video, and I'm very sorry I was gone for so long, but I'm back now, but possibly gone again for some time before I have time to record another Flosstube. But then I can tell you everything all about the retreats. So there will be, you know, the retreat, post-retreat update. Yeah, in October I was thinking, well, first of all I have to take something to stitch at the retreats. I do need to catch up on my diamond painting because I haven't really been diamond painting very much at all. So I do have to do some diamond painting in the coming weeks. And maybe some crochet as well, but I don't know. I'm not yet ready to pick up crochet again. I don't have the brain power for it just yet. But I was thinking, well, you know how I keep changing my mind all the time, but something I wanted to do in October, at least for a bit, because October is the breast cancer awareness month, and I'm a scientist who works in cancer, so it's also quite fitting. And I know some people who had breast cancer, so I thought maybe I should do some stitching of pink, something in pink, even diamond painting. I have one very pink diamond painting, so I thought maybe I'll do like pink October kind of thing. So I was thinking that one project that came to my mind that is definitely pink that I have is my Mirabilia. And also Denise from Black Ribbon Stitch Studio, sorry, I forgot the channel name. Denise, she now does Mirabilia Monday. So that would also be fun to join in. So she stitches on her Mirabilia. She started recently her first Mirabilia, and she stitches on her on Monday. So there's a hashtag Mirabilia Monday. I think that's the hashtag. It may not be correct. But please visit Denise's channel to find out more. But yes, so I was thinking doing some stitching on my Mirabilia in October. To, first of all, because I haven't stitched on it in a while, and two, because it's definitely pink and it fits the theme. And then maybe some other projects that contain pink. So one project that I only started, very barely started it, and I would really love to do some stitching on it, is my is the rooster with poppies, which I got from a Ukrainian designer, and I think it's really, really pretty, and it's got like these big pink flowers. Maybe I could do some stitching on that. Another project I thought I had that has pink in it is Sleeps with Butterflies by Haid, or originally artwork by Margaret Morales, which I also only just started, so I could maybe do some stitching on that as well. I could even start a new project that has pink, who knows. Yeah, but I thought maybe I'll do a bit of, you know, I'll pull out some projects that I had that contain pink, just for fun, in October. Yeah, but in terms of retreat, I will try to take something that's easy to stitch on. I also thought maybe, it's also, you know, it's a Halloween month, so my Lady Halloween, she only has 3 colors. She's got a very nice clear chart, which is quite, and the pattern itself is quite simple to read. So maybe I could take her to retreat, or maybe my doves, maybe my moons. I'm not sure yet, but something that's relatively simple, doesn't require a lot of brain power to stitch, so that I can chat to other people, I can put it away, pick it back again. Something that's quite portable, so it doesn't contain many colors. Yeah, so that's the plan. Anyway, you can let me know what you've been up to. Have you finished any projects? Are you close to finishing any projects? Have you started any new projects this autumn? Are you doing any autumn stitching? I don't know, just tell me something fun about your stitching, or even not stitching. You can just tell me something fun that you did when I was gone. And I hope you enjoyed this video. If this was your first video with me, I hope that you will come back. I mean, even if it wasn't your first video with me, I hope you will come back as well. But if you're not subscribing yet to my channel, but you think you may like it here, then please consider subscribing, and please consider hitting that notification bell just to be notified about my future videos. I post mostly about cross stitch and diamond painting, but occasionally other things as well. everything crafting related, and I never know what I'm gonna post about in the future, but for now it's been mostly these two things. Yeah, okay, so I'm gonna leave you alone and I'm gonna try and edit and put this video together somehow. I hope you're having a lovely, well, by the time you see it, it will be, you know, later in the week, so I hope you're having a lovely week. Yeah, if you're in the US, I hope that you're okay and your family is okay. I know you've had hurricane, a big hurricane. It looked horrible in the news. So I hope that you're safe. I hope that everything is okay. Yeah, and just in general, I hope you guys are doing okay. Thank you so much for spending this time with me. And I hope to see you in my next video. Okay. See you next time. Bye.